doing today?
I'm okay.
It's Marianne, the social worker.
I remember you.
Good, I'm glad. How you feeling?
Old,
Old?
a little depressed.
Yeah? Are you having any pain?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah?
Same old pain.
Yeah, where does it hurt? Remind me, where does it hurt?
Where doesn't it hurt?
Oh. If you could rate it on a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being really bad and 0 not at all, where do you think you'd fall right now?
Probably a 6.
A 6? Okay. Is 6, is that bearable for you, or is that uncomfortable?
I think as long as the medication is working, a 6 is okay.
Okay. I was gonna say, because I can talk with your nurse too, your hospice nurse, if we need to have that adjusted. So you just let us know, okay?
A little adjustment wouldn't hurt.
Okay, I can let her know when we're done today. You said that you're feeling kind of depressed. What's going on?
Well, I'm pretty lonely.
Lonely. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Have you started feeling this way recently, or when did that start happening?
Probably after Maggie died.
Your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she died back in April?
Hmm.
Yeah. I bet you miss her a lot.
I think that's putting it mildly.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably doesn't do it justice, huh?
Not really.
Yeah. Have you seen much of your family recently? Your son, or your daughter in law, or your grandkids?
Not really. At first they came a lot, especially after Maggie died. They were very, very worried. But I think they decided that I was old and sad and they didn't want to be around an old sad man all the time. So they
Mm.
haven't been coming as frequently. Not that
Mm.
I blame them.
Hmm. So, so you think that they don't want to be around you because you've been feeling sad?
And I'm old. What can I do?
Hmm.
I,
Okay.
I haven't I haven't done much in my life. So what I have done, they've already heard all those stories. I feel like there was a lot I could have continued to do. There was a lot that I could have explored, and I feel like there's stuff that I should have done that I didn't.
Mm. Okay. So, so what would you like to focus on today? Do you want to focus on the feeling sad, or would you rather focus on this feeling like you haven't accomplished anything?
Well, the sadness is pretty firmly rooted in something I don't think you can do anything about.
Mm.
But if you have any advice on what an old man can do from his bed.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have an idea of something that we could try today if you'd be open to it. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy. I don't know if you've heard of that before. I know you're a pretty well educated man, so have you heard of that before, or any idea what that is?
You'd have to refresh me.
Okay. So basically, the idea behind cognitive behavioral therapy is that the things that we think about can affect how we feel, which then can affect how we behave, or how what we choose to do. So, one of the things that I'm hearing you say is that you're feeling really sad and you're lonely, and it seems like you're having some sort of distress over feeling like you haven't done anything with your life. I don't know, is there a specific feeling attached to that?
Unfinished business,
Yeah.
squandered time,
So maybe disappointment, or
disappointment.
guilt?
More disappointment.
More disappointment. Okay. So so cognitive behavioral therapy can look at those things that we're thinking about, and then how that in turn makes us feel, and then the things that we do. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to try a few things today, and if you just give them a chance, I think they might help even a little bit. So, if you'd bear with me, maybe we could. Would that be okay if we tried some things?
Um, kind of a captive audience.
Okay.
I won't say no to talking to a pretty girl.
Oh, okay. That's so sweet. Anyway, so I guess if you had to rate your general level of distress, keeping in mind all of the feelings that you just told me, sadness, loneliness, disappointment, on a scale of 0 to 10 again, just like we did for your pain, with 10 being like, this is the worst I have ever felt in my entire life, and 0 being, I feel great, I don't have any problems, where do you think you would fall right now?
Probably an 8 or
An
a
8.
9.
So pretty high up there. So this is really something that's on your mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that I heard you say, and maybe you can, I don't know if I can directly quote you on it because I don't remember exactly how you phrased it, but you said something about that you didn't accomplish anything in your life, or do you remember what you said to help me remember? Something along the lines, you didn't feel like you had accomplished anything, or
Yeah. Along those lines, I feel like I did what I could. I worked to provide for my family and, to keep a roof over my head. And the military offered me some travel, so I did get to see some places, but always within, the circumstances of having to be a certain distance from base on certain days. You really can't make long-term friends when you're in a position like that, except with other soldiers who also have the same experience.
mm-hmm.
I feel like I gave a lot of my life to that, to, in one, sorry, in one way or another, taking care of other people. And I don't know that I took care of myself enough in terms of making myself happy and exploring and having adventures,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. I know it sounds silly now, but
I don't think that sounds silly. I don't think that sounds silly at all. And before we do anything else, I just want to let you know that, um, thinking about these things and, worrying about whether you did enough or, whether your life meant something, that's a pretty normal, those are normal feelings that people have, towards the end of life. That's, you know, some of our tasks that we have to kind of work through when we're nearing end of life. And I know that this terminal diagnosis has been really difficult for you. But some of these feelings of like, I didn't do enough, I haven't accomplished enough, that's a pretty normal feeling. So the reason I was kind of bringing you back to that, particular what you said about just feeling like you didn't do enough or you didn't accomplish enough, is because within cognitive behavioral therapy, we identify different types of thoughts. Because like I said, thoughts affect how we feel, which affect how we behave. So a lot of times we have core beliefs, which are the things that we feel very deeply and they shape who we are. So one core belief that maybe we've all heard is you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right? You've probably heard that before. Whether or not that's one of your core beliefs, it may or may not be. But, for a lot of people, I think a core belief could be, if I work hard, I'll be rewarded in life. So that's just an example. Along with those core beliefs, then we have what's called automatic thoughts. So those are the things that we automatically think about our core beliefs and about our things that happen to us in day-to-day life. And that could be anything from, I earned a paycheck today, I'm successful. Where the automatic thoughts can become a problem is when they become distorted, and maybe they don't accurately reflect reality anymore. Do you understand? Are you following me okay? I know.
think so.
Okay, I know some of this can be kind of technical. So if you don't understand something, please stop me. But anyway, so we call those maladaptive thoughts. So a maladaptive thought could be, well, one that I kind of heard from you was, my life didn't mean anything. we could probably classify that as a maladaptive thought, because I don't know if you noticed it, but I certainly picked up on it. Was then when you started to explain it more, you said, how hard you worked to provide for your family and do these other things. So if we were to take a look at that thought that my life meant nothing or I didn't accomplish anything, if we looked at that based on what you actually did, we might see that maybe that does not reflect your reality. Does that make sense?
I think I'm following you so far.
Okay. So, I kind of want to. So, one way we can kind of get at that, those maladaptive thoughts, is to kind of look at evidence for and evidence against. So, when I mean that is, when I say that, I mean, we can look at your statement. My life didn't mean any. My life hasn't meant anything, or I haven't accomplished whatever you want to choose. And then we look at the evidence that suggests that's true, and the evidence that suggests that's not true. And then we can kind of weigh and see which one we feel like is more accurate in the end. Are you willing to give that a shot?
Couldn't hurt.
Okay. So what statement would you prefer to go with? Would you rather want to talk about, my life doesn't have, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So would you rather do like my life doesn't have meaning, or I didn't accomplish enough? Kind of what would you like to kind of look at today?
I don't feel like I accomplished enough.
Okay.
For myself.
Okay. So you threw in a little caveat there, because before it was I didn't feel like I accomplished enough, and then you said for myself. But that's okay. We'll still go with that. We'll work with it. So, what do you think is the evidence that suggests that's true? And I know you said a few earlier. You said that you didn't get to really maybe travel as much as you would have liked to outside of the military trips that you were able to take. It sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like maybe you focused so much on your family that you didn't really do things for you. So let's start there. So what is the evidence that I did not do enough for me, or I haven't accomplished enough for me? What makes that true?
Aside from my children and grandchildren and their relative comfort of living, I don't feel that I have much to be proud of. I don't feel like I have much that people will remember of me.
Okay. But what I'm looking for is specific examples. So one I heard was, I don't feel like people will remember me. We're getting off a little bit topic. So hold that thought. We'll kind of come back to that. What do you feel like? What's some concrete evidence that you have that you did not accomplish enough for yourself? You already said you didn't get to travel as much as you would have liked.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What else do you feel like supports that statement? What else did you wish you could have done for yourself that you couldn't, or you didn't?
I feel like I didn't have very many friends later in life, so I didn't have much of a chance to do fun things with people because Maggie got very sick and I had to take care of her a lot.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess I got very caught up helping to raise my grandchildren as well, which wasn't a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
So would you put that as evidence for or evidence against?
I think looking back, a little bit of both.
Okay, so maybe a little bit on each side.
I
Okay.
enjoyed the time I spent with them, but
It also took away
it took
time.
away time for me.
Yeah. Anything else that you can think of? Those are really good ones so far.
Maggie and I got married when I was 18, so I don't have much experience with women.
Mm-hmm.
And I think often about that. My life would have been different if I would have met someone else, if I could have fallen in love with anybody else. Not that I regret being with Maggie until the end. But
There's that curiosity.
sure. I mean, you don't see very many James Bond spy movies where he goes home at the end to his wife after going to the office and filling out paperwork all day.
Okay.
Well, I don't talk. Okay.
Anyway, okay, so the things that I've heard you say so far is you didn't get to travel as much as you would have liked.
Can I sit up?
Yeah, would you be more comfortable? Yeah. Do you need another pillow?
I think I'll be okay.
Okay. Are you comfortable? Are you not? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the things I heard you say was that you didn't get to travel as much as you'd like. Um, you took care of Maggie at the end of life, so that kind of eliminated some of your social time. Um, being with her for, gosh, how many years was it? 60 some years? It's a long time. Being with her for 60 years makes you wonder, what it would have been like if maybe with somebody else. And then also helping raise your grandchildren is both kind of a good thing and not such a good thing. So that's the evidence that supports I didn't do enough for myself. Okay? So what would be the evidence against that? That says I did do enough.
I have wonderful grandchildren and wonderful children who I know love me very much, even though they don't visit as much as I would like.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a wonderful relationship with Maggie that I don't regret one bit. And she helped me know myself better. I think my quality of life was better with her in it. And the time that I had in the Army was interesting, if not always fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I kind of heard, a lot of the same things that were on your first list, but in more of a positive light. Yes, you had to take care of your wife for a long time, but you had 60 plus really good years together. And it sounds like you loved each other a lot. On the one hand, your career prevented you from being able to kind of travel the way you wanted to, but on the other hand, it sounds like it was also challenging and sometimes fun, and you did get to do limited amounts of traveling. Um, Even though you had to help raise your grandchildren, you have this wonderful family who may not visit you as much as you like, but they're still there, and I'm sure they care about you. Um, so I guess the whole point of this is to look at, which one of those lists that we just named off, which one is that, which one of those are reality for you? Which one of those feels more true? I'm not going to deny it does sound like you've had to be a very big caregiver in a lot of your family's life. But maybe we can even think about, you said, I didn't do enough for me, right? And I get that, but maybe we can redefine what doing something for you meant. Because, yes, you did all these things for other people, but in turn, you were gaining some really good things from it too. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So, and that's totally your viewpoint, but that's one way to look at it. So, if you had to kind of think back to those lists now, which one do you think is more accurate, the first one or the second one?
I think the second one is true all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one is usually only true when I'm feeling really lousy.
So that goes back to what I was saying about how our thoughts can affect how we feel. It goes the other way. Our feelings can affect how we think that day. So it's good that you recognize that, because if you recognize, wow, I'm just emotionally not feeling good right now, then you can be more aware of the things that you're thinking. Are they either helping contribute to your mood, or are they helping you get out of that mood? So I don't want to bombard you with a lot of stuff today, but I think that's a good start. And then in the next maybe couple of sessions, we can talk more about this if you feel like this is helpful. But just like we started in the beginning, where I had you rate your distress regarding this topic, I'd like you to rate it again just so we can see maybe what, if anything, we have accomplished today. So if you had to go back and rate that same distress over feeling like you didn't do enough or you didn't do enough for you, before you said you were like an 8 or a 9, where do you feel like you are now?
Probably better.
Okay. If you had to give it a number, with 0 being like not at all and 10 being the worst, where do you think it would fall?
Maybe a 5.
A 5? So that's some really good progress. That's bothersome, but it's not like a 9. So that's great progress. Whether I mean, for just one day, that's really good. So, um, I definitely think if this is something that you think will be helpful, we can maybe do this in the next couple of sessions and see if maybe we can even get that 5 down a little bit lower, or if there's other things that you're feeling you need to talk about, we can address those too. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're feeling a little bit better after we've worked through some of this stuff. I will follow up with your nurse Betsy about your pain meds. Is there anything else I can do for you, or anything else that you need from me right now?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll plan on seeing you next week on Monday, like I normally do. If for some reason I can't get out here at my regular time, I'll call you and let you know. But otherwise, you can expect to see me at, 5 o'clock on Monday. Okay.
All right.
All right. I hope you have a great weekend, Ernie.
Thank you.